basically brag for each other.
Yeah, that's a good way to go about it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I don't mind tooting my own horn.
Okay.
So the first question I have, what are the initial concerns as a real estate agent when you hear that your clients are going into credit repair?
So my initial concern is who are they working with, and then what steps and processes are they taking, because typically there's a fee or something like that, and so I just want to make sure that there was somebody who knows what they're doing and like how quickly that process will go, and are they coaching them along the way, because they could just take their money and run.
Absolutely.
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around long enough to know kind of the good and the bad of credit repair companies. So my initial question is, who are you working with? Because I want to know. And ideally, I get them to the company that I really like working with, which is you guys. But I just want to make sure that they're being taken care of as well. You hear that they've been with these companies for 2 to 3 years, and like Lyndi said, they're paying a monthly fee usually. And so you're dragging out 36 months. It's crazy. So that's one of my big fears, making sure that they're getting taken care of and not being just strung along.
What are some of the stories that you guys have heard about credit repair?
Yeah, I mean, exactly that right there. I mean, I had a poor lady that was with a company for between 2 to 3 years. I can't remember exactly. I think it was 30 months or something of that nature. And if you're looking, $100, $150 a pop a month, you're thousands of dollars into this. And she couldn't tell me where she was at. She couldn't tell me any of the benefit that has been provided by the company at that time. So, that was a huge drag to me. And my follow-up question to her was, you should always have some end point in mind. You should have something coming, like, here's an ETA of when we're going to get this thing cleared up for you, or we're going to have some kind of resolution, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was the biggest one for me, like my biggest horror story.
So I don't have any stories.
That's good.
Yeah, right?
That's a rarity.
And hopefully I don't, because we're going with you guys.
That's true.
So.
You won't.
She sends her stuff to us, that's right. I'm taken care of.
I got my trusted people. Stick with them.
What experience are you guys, kind of as a team, looking to build for your clients, and how does credit repair kind of fit into that?
Yeah, and I think we do a really good job of communication across the board. I know your team does a great job, and that's why it's seamless to step that in. But we want them to have clarity, right? Whether they're getting a loan and they have excellent credit and they're going to go under contract next week, or if they're 12 months out, right? And we have this golden opportunity because they're in a lease for the next year. We get them in touch with the right people, and then we do our follow-up, as well as our other partners, including credit repair, does their follow-up and making sure that they feel like they're taken care of. Almost like that 5-star experience at a restaurant, right? Everyone checks in on you, make sure that you're doing fine, that you're getting all your questions answered. That's what we want to deliver to them, is that white glove service. So.
And I think another big thing along with that is education, because a lot of the times how people get themselves into a bad situation is because they are not educated. And so for us to be able to be that coach, to be that expert, and to tell them and help them take those steps to either get away from that bad place or not go there, I think is really big for us, because that overall creates a really good experience for them. So when they go to the next time they're going to sell or buy a home, they're that much ahead of the game and know what they want to do and more confident in that buy or that purchase. And that's what we want. And we want them to be happy and confident in going into that buy or that sell situation.
Jump on that as well is the education piece, is letting them know that they're not in a bottomless pit, right? A lot of people think, oh, my credit is bad. Well, number one, what's your frame of reference for that? What is bad, right? If you're under 800, is that bad? Not necessarily at all, right? But also educating them and letting them know, hey, you're not that far out of reach. Homeownership is possible. Having a 700 credit score is possible, and helping them kind of get those life skills, as I don't know, corny as that sounds, it's true.
If you were to advise a new loan officer or a new real estate agent on how to approach credit repair so that they don't leave people in a bottomless pit, right? Yeah. What advice would you give?
So I look at them. I come from a coaching system through my boss, John Acebi, and he's a big believer in helping people be the best that they can be. Me be the best loan officer I can be. His agents be the best agents they can be. The clients be the best clients that they can be, right? And so never taking that, well, if it's not a paper client, just push them to the side. Treat them like a new construction deal, right? So on the lending side, if I'm talking to a loan officer, a new construction deal is going to pay you out in 6 months, 9 months, 12 months from now, right? You're going to have a client that closes with you and is a raving fan for all those 12 months and then the following years, right? So if I can help a person get to that point where they can get qualified for a home, not only am I going to close a deal in 6, 12 months, whatever it may be, I'm also building that raving fan throughout that because I'm doing what I said I'm going to do and I'm helping them get to the next level in their life.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. And I think along with John, your mentor and coach and everything like that, I feel like being teachable is really huge and being willing to learn because yes, I am a professional and expert, but at the same time, I don't know everything. And every situation is different. And that's where what I love is we've created this team of people who we trust who maybe have 20 years of experience more than us, but that we can rely on and go and talk to about different situations. So that's what I love about the industry, especially being new, is that I'm constantly learning and open to learn so that I can be better myself, better my clients, just overall get the best situation for them. And that's I think something that we are really good at is communicating that, talking it through, being really creative and problem solving for our clients in order to be like, look, if your goal is to buy a home or to sell your home or whatever it is, let's see what we can do to make it work. Let's explore all options so that we can help you meet your goal. And if it doesn't work, then we'll come back when it does.
Tell me more about the process of getting a client over that hump and into home ownership. You know, what's that process look like from pretty much when you meet them all the way through to closing?
Yeah, you want to start this because you're usually the first contact here.
So I feel like our process is really just like, you know, meeting with us and already telling them like I have a team that I work with, and what I do is I'm very detailed oriented and like I said, like my biggest thing for my clients is to educate them. I do not want to be like, oh, this home looks great, like you should get this and this looks like a good price. No, like let's look at these things and let's walk you through the process. And so I've created a system where I literally hand them over and like, look, these are all the steps so that they know what to expect ahead of time. They know that these are the people I work with and that I trust. I mean, they can go with others, but I know when I work with my team that things are going to get done. And so I feel like I just set the expectations up at first and just know that I'm going to educate them and to feel free to ask questions, because I feel a lot of times people feel dumb or like, oh, I should know this, but in all honesty, like there's a lot of people who don't know a lot and they're like in their 60s or whatever about home stuff. And so I feel like at the end of the day, just creating that safe place of they can be themselves, we can be ourselves, and just be real with them. Sorry, did I take it?
No, that's perfect. So, you know, once you handle that and walk through that system that she has and explain the whole homeowner process and home buying process, mine looks very similar. I don't care if you have a 500 or 800 credit score, right? Ideally, we do an application. We get a baseline where you're at, because sometimes, and this is my favorite time, is I have people, I can't buy a home right now, and then we pull credit. Guess what? It's 100 points higher than you thought it was, right? We're ready to go. That's awesome. But sometimes it's not, right? Which is totally fine. And all it is just a fork in the road, and we're coming back to match up later on down the trail. And at that point, I hand them off. I have a template. I say, okay, I'm going to hand you off to my partners, Alex over at Premier Credit. They're great. They're going to reach out to you. Do you mind if I have them do that? No, that's great. Share your info. And then I tell them I'm going to reach out to you every 3 to 4 weeks just to check in, see if you have any questions, make sure everything's going the way it needs to be going. So I'm doing that for two things. Number one, I want to make sure that they're feeling they're taken care of, but also I want to add accountability. Just like a coach on any other team, right? They're there to make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do. I want to be someone that is basically saying, hey, how's things going? You know, we're waiting, we're excited to get you into a home. How are things going? Oh, things kind of out of step back, totally get it. I think that we should correct it this way. Let's reach out to Premier Credit and get them to help you back onto the path. So after that, it all just comes back to staying in communication, and then we get them pre-approved and get them into a house. And as a matter of fact, I have one right now, one under contract on Tuesday that went through that exact process. It's been 14 months, but they're in it and they're elated.
And I like the fact that you got a story of somebody who came through our program to top it all off. That's fantastic. So what are the things that you're doing on the real estate side, you're doing on the mortgage side, outside of education and setting expectations, to really try to build a better customer experience overall?
I think the biggest thing is just being relatable and just being real and being like, look, like I've been through these situations, or the education one, you're killing me on that. But
well, the relatability, I will jump in and tell you, with the team dynamics in real estate now, that has kind of, I shouldn't say gone away, but I do feel like there is a lack of relatability, a lack of empathy in real estate. So I think that's a good string to go down,
Well, I think again, it's really based on relationships, and that you're just not a number or a transaction where, like, I had my client just recently was like, are you frustrated that like we've looked at like 20 homes and I can't decide yet? And I'm just like, no, I don't know, like not really. I mean, I want you to be happy and I want you to get the best thing that is for you, and if that takes you a long time, then so be it. Like, I'm here for you. I'm fighting for you. This isn't about me. I love helping people find a home or sell a home, but actually reach the goals that they want. And that's what like makes me happy, is it's really a service-oriented job role. And so that's, I feel like, an experience there. And then just, being their friend, being real. I want to be friends with all my clients. So
I love it. That's awesome.
So, other outside of communication and education, for me, is trying to build a great client experience, right? Because one of the things I ask all the clients that I meet with is, do you know anyone that has bought a house? Great. Any of them have a bad story, right? 9 out of 10 do have a bad story. So we're trying to hit that on the nose up front and then eliminate those from the very get-go. And most of the time it is communication, right? Just making sure that you pick up your phone or you call them, good news, bad news, whatever, just update them. But in addition to that, a little gift giving goes a long way. It doesn't have to be a lot, but just something. It's an exciting time for them. So letting them know, hey, here's a housewarming gift. Hey, you're pre-approved. Here's a little something. Just keeping them exciting, because it's an intimidating process, right? You're usually buying the biggest piece of anything that you've bought ever in your life. The most expensive, a lot of people are $250,000 to $1 million, right? So just something to let them know that they're safe, they're taken care of, and they're around people that care about them. So that's something that we do a little bit above and beyond, I guess, to make sure that the client experience is positive for them. And then we always wrap up with a client survey to make sure that if there is any feedback, we want to hear about it, because we want to get better, because we always want to try to improve our systems, and I'm a big believer in that.